Hello everyone, I am Erika of beadingschool.com and you are watching Coffee Time with Erika, my weekly beady broadcast. Today I'm going to tell you about my recent visit to Jablonec, the crystal valley in the Czech Republic, where most of our glass beads are made. But before we would all start learning and immersing ourselves into this beautiful atmosphere, then please let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and I will also check if the broadcast has started properly and try to share it in the club. Just a moment. Oh, okay, that was not a good idea. So, please, someone would be so kind to share the Facebook or YouTube even to the Beading School Club so our fellow beaders can also find us. And I would like to say hi to Catherine, Linda, Anna, Aniko, Angelina, Lita. And Lita says, "Hello, Erika, you are coming through loud and clear and you look lovely. Thank you so much. It's my new beading school uniform with the beading school colored decoration." Ingrid is here, Cindy, Margareta, Sherry is here, Lutka, Georgina, Sylvia, Rachel, Jessica, Linda, Catherine, Terry, Sue. Terry, I hope you are doing fine after the surgery. Sue, Yosin, Cindy, Molly, Malia, Katja, Marceline, and Joyce. So many of us today. So I confess that at the last moment, I decided to make a last minute change of the topic. On one hand, originally I planned to talk about all the shades of green and how we combine them and so on. However, on one hand, after this recent visit to the Crystal Valley and learning a lot about the bead making process, my heart is still full of emotions and I can't let go of them. And on the other hand, I felt like I'm sure you will have questions. I have also prepared a bit of details, but both topics, the color green and also the visit to the Crystal Valley, they just simply deserve more attention than they would have gotten if I mixed the two. So I apologize for this last minute change, but I even discussed it with Susie, and we both thought that this is going to be the right way. Let's dedicate proper time to the Crystal Valley visit, and then let's return to the color green later. And Angelina says, "I can completely understand. Visit a place where so many beads are made must be total heaven for beadaholics like us." And thank you for understanding. And Angelina and everyone, like, I'm in the beading world, like, fully immersed in it for 15 years, more than 15 years, and still this visit now, it was life changing. In the meanwhile, our Timmy also joined us. Thank you so much, Timmy, for checking in. And Sherry, I know actually why your post was removed. Sorry, I just realized that links are not allowed, so it was automatically turned down. I'm sorry about that. But let's get back to the and thank you for trying. Let's get back to the topic. So, just a little while ago, we shared a picture about Andrea and me. We visited the crystal valley together, and we asked, what do you think? What are we doing with Andrea on this picture? Are we maybe washing or beading school socks because of a big storm and we got soaked? There was lots of rain. Or are we checking out how the concrete is mixed for building a new bead factory? Are we maybe learning about the bead tumbling process, which is a very important part? Or do you think, are we doing something else? Zuzi says that in her opinion, we are washing socks. Beading school socks are beautiful, so we need to keep them clean, of course. Heather joined us and Asta also. Lita says those are the same kind of machines used to make candy. And actually, this is so surprising for me that these machines, which I know from construction sites, they are involved in candy making and in bead making, but indeed they are very important. Jessica thinks that it's a margarita mixer. Well, my go-to drink these days is a mezcal margarita, so it could be. Corinne says preparing cement. Okay, Heather says it's tumbling. Mektap says grinding coffee. And Susie says so many jokes. We are a creative bunch. And indeed, we were observing together with Andrea the tumbling process. And it is an essential part of bead making. And during the upcoming months, we will bring you lots and lots of beading knowledge where you can learn about the different steps and the machines together with us. But what are we going to talk about today? So, as I said, this recent visit to Jablonec really opened my eyes to the bead making process and also all the lovely people that are part of this craft in a way that I never expected, not even after 15 years of being fully immersed in the beading world. So all the knowledge that we gathered and that I want to share with you gradually, all the pictures and videos that the talented Mona and Attila, who traveled with us, made, will fuel upcoming posts, articles, coffee time with Erika's for much more time than just today's brief virtual visit to this magical place. Besides deeper knowledge and a more techy immersion into the bead making process coming later, I need to really well prepare for it. There is also an exclusive interview coming in the future with a very prominent person from the Crystal Valley, whom it's not easy to meet normally, but beading school got an audition, and we will come back later in this interview for you. But today we will start with a rather poetic and sentimental virtual visit, because that's where I am still in my mind with my heart. So still very much under all the different impressions, and I need to yet process them, and that's the mood that I would like to bring for you today. But first I would like to show you a little video, and then I will return to the screen. So I hope that you liked the video. Many more are coming. And Christina says that she is a member of the Oklahoma Bead Society in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it would be great to see everything. Dear Christina, please feel free to share the content that we are sharing, and also please drop an email to us so we can help educating your beaders about bead making and so on. We are very, very, very happy to do that. And please, everyone, if you will see the interesting educational posts in the future, don't hesitate to share with your beading friends. We will be super happy about that. But about the specific visit, we went to the Crystal Valley together with my friend and colleague Andrea. I love spending time with her. It's not only because we love working together, but also we have a long history. We used to be classmates in high school, and we unintentionally followed each other first to Prague, later to the Netherlands, and eventually to the beading world. Last week's trip to the Crystal Valley was very much her brainchild. She organized all the factory and partner visits, and before I would go into the details, I would like to thank her for that. Also for driving me around all the time, as I am only used to bicycles these days. And it was a wonderful time together. We also took long walks. We worked hard, but also laughed hard every day. And the heavy boxes that you can see on the picture, they are hiding some of the treasures that we found together. And what is actually the Crystal Valley? The Crystal Valley lays in the heart of Europe, in the Czech Republic. It is a beautiful place north of Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. The distance is about an hour, about 100 kilometers, a little bit less miles, maybe like 90 miles. And the traditions of the glassmaking industry that are very much connected with this area reflect over 500 years of history, skills, care, and love for the beads and the other products made from glass. One of the secrets behind the glassware manufacturing in this Crystal Valley is connected to this area's natural beauty and abundance very much. Hills around the Crystal Valley provide the specific type of sand needed for the primary commodities. Forests are precious for wood that heats up and heated up the fire in the kilns. Streams and their clear water are essential in cooling down the glass, in washing and cleaning during the process consisting of many different steps. And as I said, even after 15 years in the beading world, this visit and peeking behind the doors, which weren't open for us until this moment, witnessing how lovingly people from the manufactories talk about our treasures and the beautiful nature moved me in a way that I did not expect. We were invited to meet our partners, see different factories, productions, and sometimes we could even participate in bead making, literally getting our hands dirty. So I'm wondering, maybe one day the same beads will actually appear on my bead mat or one of your bead mats. We will never know, but that thought is wonderful. And now that we learned so much about the process, we understand a lot better, for example, that why we can't rush our partners when they say that they need more time for preparing something for us. For example, cooling down the glass after heating it up to 1500 degrees Celsius can take lots of time. The tumbling is also a time-consuming part of the process. This can take days. The tumbling and also the cooling down, the gradual cooling down to make sure that the beads don't crack, not on site, not later when you are working for them. The cooling down has to be very slow and gradual. So there is no rush in bead making. And what was also a huge surprise, that even now, even in 2024, most, if not all, of our beads from the crystal volley are still literally touched and perfected by several people, each of them, until they become sparkly beauties from the rough glass rods. Each one of them, each one of the beads was cared for several people instead of just dropping out of a machine after a fully automatized sequence. That is not how it works in the crystal volley. And I have always wondered why it is so hard to automatize bead making, and now I see, because already at the very beginning, when the glass rods are made, which are then later melted and shaped into the beads, so even that makes a difference when we compare man-made and machine-made glass rods. So, for example, when a person makes a glass rod, then he can create, or she can create, a beautiful layered effect when several colors are melted together. And that would disappear if you would prepare the glass rods by a machine. So whenever you see a bead which is multicolored, like for example the fire polished beads, the two-colored fire polished beads that we have in the beading school bead shop, you can know that even the glass rods, the primary material, is made by a person. Then later, when these glass rods are fed into machines to heat them up before they can be pressed and shaped, there are also two ways where you can go. So you can either feed the glass rods at the top of the machine, inserting many of them at the same time, heating them up at the same time, and then the machine just produces the pressed stage of the bead making. Or there can actually sit a person in front of the machine holding the glass rod, taking it with huge gloves and clamps into his or her hand, putting it into the fire, waiting until it heats up, and then it can be shaped. So these are the two opportunities. And you might think, like, why does someone still do that? It doesn't sound that much fun to like sit in front of a kiln of 100 degrees, of hundreds of degrees, or even more than 1,000 degrees of Celsius, when it can also be just automatized. But there is a meaning behind this. So, of course, as with every manufacturing process, things can go wrong. And it happens that the pressing of the shape needs to be adjusted. And imagine that when all the glass is already melted at the top of the machine, it starts to flow, the pressing starts. There is a mistake, the machine needs adjustment. However, there is no way that you would be able to stop the glass from flowing through the machine and getting wasted for a while if it's this automatized option. However, when a person sits there in front of the pressing machine, then when he or she notices the mistake in the adjustments and needs to adjust it, then he or she can remove the single glass rod that she's working with, make the adjustment, and then continue. So yeah, there is a reason why the presence of a person is so much needed in some cases. Some bead shapes can be trickier, some are easier to set, so it depends. And just to mention, even if the glass melts through from an automatized machine, then of course it's a huge waste because it was heated up. The time and the opportunity to work with that machine is wasted. But the glass itself, it can be luckily reused. So it can again be melted, but then again, more resources, more time are invested. And Sue mentions that, yeah, the cool down period in glass making is really long. And Catherine says that she loves the fire mixed glass effect in the fire polished beads indeed. And Rachel says, and that is why good quality beads are expensive and worth their price. And ladies, like after this visit, when we saw what is involved in the process, we actually were catching our hands with Andrea that this should actually be more expensive to make sure that the glass makers get a good wage and this is sustainable. So we can still be super lucky with this aspect. And about colors, so very often we are complaining that, oh my god, the same color looks a little bit different when it's coming from a different batch, and how can it happen? So, and of course it is annoying, but now we learned that what is the story behind this, because of course the factories want to produce consistent colors. However, it's not only about the pigments that go into the glass. The weather and the humidity and the size of the beads also have an impact. So imagine that when a specific new color is invented, let's say like Preciosa, for example, invents a new color of crystals, then they don't invent one color, but they invent several colors because they need to mix the pigments in a different way for different sizes of beads. Through the bigger beads, more light is shining. So a different ratio of the pigments is needed than for the smaller beads where less light is going through. And as I mentioned, the weather and the humidity. So even if everything is done in the same way, but the same material, in this following the same recipe, following the same procedure, resulting in the same shape and size of beads, is done in January or in June, the result will be different. The temperature, the humidity, and they are measuring it. They are doing their best. But not everything can be quantified. Not everything can be done in a laboratory. So, lovely beaders, also, this is an opportunity to please remember this and please accept it, that bead making is not coming from a laboratory. It's not laboratory conditions. Every bead is touched by several people and very much touched by the environment where it is made. And yeah, in the meanwhile, Terry finds the light and the bigger bead fact fascinating. And she says how they get them alike is truly an art. Indeed, it is. And Kimberly, hi Kim, she says, I wonder too if the different levels of minerals and salts found in the sand used to make glass would also impact the saturation of colors absorbed. And absolutely, because also we learned about some of the recipes. Someone was asking if red actually really contains gold, pink contains gold, and all the different colors, they contain different particles, different chemicals. So yes, everything has an impact, and it's beautiful. And that was about the colors, but shaping the beads, that is another art form. So when the beads are polished, and I will tell you more about this when we get to the deep techie insights, coffee time with Erika, but just a little detail that I found so fascinating that I have to share it today, that when the beads are polished, then they are put on a rod in a long row, and then they touch a diamond drill from each side. And the diamond drill, it gives facets to the beads. And there are shapes that can be automatized, but there are shapes, like I will show you later which one, it's called balls, which can't be automatized. So for one row of beads, which is about this distance, I don't know, like 60-80 centimeters, a person needs to turn around the beads manually 12 times to polish them from each side. So it requires focus, it requires skill. The person needs to know how fast, how strong I need to push the beads to the drill, to the polishing device. And in one of the manufactories where we found these special beads, one person is capable of doing that. One person, called Alesh. So also later, like first we learned about it, how it's going, but then later we went into the treasure trove and dug through the beads, and then we asked our host, like, so this is the shape, was it made by Alesh? And she said, like, yes, of course, he's really the only one at our manufactory who can do that. So it's magic. And today I just wanted to give you a little tip of the iceberg insight into the glass making process. But there is something more that I wanted to share. I will now switch to my hand camera. When we were visiting the factories, then our hosts were so gracious that at every stage of the process, they gave me some of the beads. And now I would like to show you how different stages of the bead making look like. So I will now switch to my hand camera and please let me know if you can still hear me and see me. And Linda is asking, what happens if Alesh is sick or needs a vacation? Then that shape is not made in that manufactory. Another manufactory might have the same shape and might have a different person, but in this specific factory, if he's not there pushing the polishing device, those beads are not made for you, made for us. So please let me know, ladies, if you can still hear me and if you can still see me. Joyce joined in the meanwhile and she says, very fascinating. And I'm sure the bead makers are proud of their beads and are excited as we are in making their products. I could feel it in every move they made, in every word they said about the beads, that everyone in the industry, they love beads. And since I'm getting feedback from you that you can hear me and see me, then I would like to show you some fragments of glass that I brought back from the Crystal Valley. So first of all, this is a piece of a glass rod turquoise. Of course, it's pretty funny because from every stage I got some turquoise beads. They didn't even know about my turquoise obsession. And one of the glass rods was broken. So otherwise I would not be able to take one for you, because the glass rods are about 1 meter long and roughly 3 centimeter wide. But one was broken apart, so I could get back a piece of it. Then I told you that the glass rods are melted and then they are going through the pressing machine, but the result is very far from what we play with. So this is how it comes out from the pressing machine. It's like a long line that then needs to be broken apart and worked with further, but we can already see here the round glass beads and the holes are there already. So the holes are created at the very beginning of the process when the shape of itself is pressed into the melted glass. I also have here smaller round beads. And what I found truly fascinating, these are crescent beads, also already with the 2 holes, but this needs to be removed, this part, of course, and then further processes need to be made. So this is after the pressing. And when the beads are shaken and they are hitting each other and a machine that they are going through, then the extra pieces are removed. And these are the glass fragments that are removed. there is a very clever selection system how most of it can be removed, in this case with a machine. So I got also a little bit of that waste that again can go back to the beginning of the production process, so it does not get wasted. And then I have here a single bead where the extra parts are broken off. However, you still see this rim where the extras were attached. So later it will go into the tumbling and the polishing to make it smooth. And in case it is a fire polished bead, then it can also be faceted. It can go through Alesh's hands or some of the other bead makers' hands to get facets, and then it will also get burned one more time to get a fire polished effect. So these were the fragments of glass that I wanted to show you. I will bring back my head camera now, face camera. Again, please let me know if you can still hear me and see me. And actually, at this moment, I have another video for you that from the production itself that I would like to show. Some from the production and a bit of me with Andrea. So together with Andrea, we dug deep. We also of course dug deep into the stock of beady warehouses and treasure troves that were otherwise not open for us, or ones that we haven't even known that well yet. Sometimes you really need to be there in person to check out everything, or to hold the shape and see the color with your own eyes, to recognize how inspiring it truly is. So as soon as we left the offices of our hosts and those doors opened for us and revealed all the sparklies behind them, we immediately transformed from the cool businesswoman image to a completely different state. And with eyes shining, we were packing our shopping baskets full of beads that I can't wait to play with. I even found a full shelf of turquoise, ranging from blue shades to green shades and everything in between. And we brought back more than a dozen of those. So today I bring you the result of this big girl bead shopping trip to the beading school bead shop. I carefully selected everything on the temporary shelf, the treasures from the Crystal Valley, lots of turquoise shades, donuts to use between motifs and beaded beads, a taste of matte round pearls, and lots of rare table cut beads too. And of course, some beads that were made by Alesh himself. So it was very much an impulse buying bead shopping. But I think that already this, what I'm holding here, is a very cool combination of colors. Avocado green fire polished donuts, turquoise olives, and a gorgeous transparent yet very eye-catching pink. And all of this will now come alive and can be yours in the beading school bead shop. And to reward our beloved beading school academy students on the turquoise and fuchsia levels, all the inspiring beads from this journey can be yours now with a 7% discount starting now until next week's Coffee Time with Erika. So that is the 18th of June 2024, 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Central Europe, 11 a.m. in New York City, 8 a.m. in California, and 3 o'clock in the morning for Faye and Louisa in New Zealand. So this special offer lasts until we have these beautiful beads in stock, very limited, or until next week at the same time. And we also created many bead bundles. So my advice is to go for the bead bundles if you like what you see, because together with the 7% discount for our current turquoise and fuchsia beading school academy students, it is a significant difference. And now a question, because, and I really hope that you will love these beads as much as I do, like all of them that we brought back with us. Then truly speak to me, and I can give you ideas and we can talk about them. So it's really like a carefully selected collection. Unfortunately, the site is still experiencing some problems, so I would like to ask for patience from you. I know how absolutely annoying this is. Like, unfortunately, these days we are dealing with this a lot, and we are working hard, but this is not a problem that would be easy to easy to solve. So it will take a few more weeks to solve this. And until then, that time, as a thank you for your patience and sticking it out with us, please do that. We really appreciate your loyalty. So until that time, with every package that we ship, you also get a thank you gift for your patience that we insert into every package of yours. And to make the time pass better, would you like to see some of the beads that I brought back? Or shall I let you now to trying to get to the bead shop? And thank you so much for being so enthusiastic about the beads that I brought back. And Angelina says, I wish you best of luck with your servers. Thank you so much. And Jessica and Heather would like to see the beads. So let me switch to my hand camera again and let's see the beads that I brought back. So you should be able to see now my bead mat and still hear me as I am talking. So I will go through some of the beads that we brought back and also share with you some of my ideas how I would like to work with them. So first of all, I have here 3 colors of kind of like pearly matted round beads. They are 8mm big. These are the 6mm from my own stash for comparison. So these are 8mm big. And I found these 3 colors. So one is like a purplish kind of fuchsia. One is this soft, beautiful blue. And then, of course, the turquoise version. So this really caught my eye. I love using the round beads. I know that we don't include them that much in designs themselves, but please remember that you can bezel them actually with square stitch and with peyote stitch too, to use in the middle of a beaded motif, for example. Just go back to the basic square stitch instructions. Or you can insert them between beaded beads. You can use them as a string of beads for your necklace. So even bigger beads can be very well used in your beadwork. Then, talking about bigger beads, I have a feeling I need to find now quickly some 12mm pearls from Preciosa for comparison. So these are even bigger than the 12mm ones. I would say maybe 14 or 16. And if you look into some beaded beads that we created around a glass bead core, then it will give you ideas how you can include this in a beaded bead, for example. They have a beautiful pearly shine, and usually I'm not into beige and these buttery tones, but the sparkle and the light, not texture, like it's smooth completely, but there is a bit of a marbled pattern on them. So these, I couldn't leave them there. And Terry has an idea of a beading school academy theme. She says it would be fun to have a theme called the Crystal Volley that features the bead there. And Terry, I really, really love your idea. Thank you so much for sharing it. Then, after the smooth rounds, I have here a package where I have the beads made by Alash. So these are called balls beads. They come in different sizes and of course different colors. So I have here 3 smaller and 3 bigger varieties. So as you can see, it is a kind of a round shape, but the top and the bottom, I will remove them from the little bag. So the top and the bottom are decorated with some extra facets. So these all went through the hands of Alash. From the small ones, I have purple and greenish color, and then this like more neutral color. And then from the bigger beads, I have a black and purple, a turquoise green with white on top, and then the same greenish color. And Sherry says they look similar to cathedral beads. And dear Sherry, beads actually actually can have different names because they can be produced in also the same shape in different manufacturers. So if one of the manufacturers calls them balls but the other calls them cathedral, it is possible. I'm not 100% sure that it's absolutely the same, but you are so right that these are very similar to cathedrals and the facets made by Aleš. Then I also have here, reminding me of the beautiful nature in the crystal volley, 3 leaf shapes. These are flat leaves, and since we are talking about bead embroidery a lot these days, then I imagined that this would be perfect on top of a traveler pendant, for example. They are easy to fix with a single seed bead on top of it. And you can either leave them moving around a little bit because there is only one hole, or you can fix them with a drop of glue, a tiny drop of glue. And of course, it's also possible to just simply hang them under a beaded motif in a cute pair of earrings. The back, in the case of these yellowish topazish ones, is different, so you can use them only one way. But in case of the white with silver and this pinkish tone, the back and the front is the same. Then I have here some more faceted beads, and I think these olives were actually on the picture that I showed you at the beginning. And Angelina has a question about stock. Like we have a limited number of these, unfortunately, but also if something unfortunately went wrong, then please shoot an email to info@beadingschool.com, because unfortunately here I can't answer. I don't have I can't answer questions about stock, because that's something that my colleagues will be able to help with. And I really hope that the turquoise bundles are not out yet. We went for a lot bigger amounts of turquoise beads than for everything else. So these are olive beads, faceted, and these are the turquoise ones that I have in the middle of the picture. And we also found another color, which is like a matte orangish reddish color, and very pretty together and separate too. They have a bronze part on top and at the bottom, so that makes them super interesting. Another shape and color that I found pretty are these 3-cut beads. They are a bit bigger, and part of it is with a Picasso effect, and otherwise it's a bluish beautiful tone. And indeed, as Kimberly says, it's actually pretty complicated to to bring everything to the front end from the back end. And actually 3 of my colleagues are helping today to make it work. So today is a bit more complicated day because of all the varieties. Joyce says that she would like to use this in a pair of earrings, and that would be beautiful, I think. Then I have here a bunch of different shapes. For example, 2 spike beads. And one of them, the turquoise Picasso one, is slightly smaller. And then I haven't seen many of these big spikes yet. So you can, for example, attach them to bead embroidery, but also you can bezel the bottom with seed beads. So this would be a very edgy pair of earrings, in my opinion. Then I have here 3 donut-shaped fire-polished beads. One of them turquoise, of course, with a Picasso effect. And the other 2 are also turquoise, but bright yellow, perfect for the upcoming spring days. Summer days. I still feel like it's the autumn here in the Netherlands with 10 degrees in the morning and heavy rain. But indeed, summer should be coming. Then I have glass bicone beads, and I have never used this bigger variation. I always used only the 6mm ones, but these are slightly bigger. Again, I think they would work well in a pair of earrings, or for example, if I made a pendant, then I would use these close to the pendant and then continued with smaller beads to the side. I also have here these flat oval beads decorated with a 3-leaf clover, and they are transparent blue, but they have this gold edging of the clover shape. And in the meanwhile, Angelina noticed that we have a new tutorial available since today in the bead shop, and it's indeed Veronka's Dear France. And I wanted to mention it at the end. And we selected it for today because it also uses some Czech shaped glass beads, the colors that we are working with these days. And it is available in the bead shop on its own, but it's not part of a special offer. And Kimberly says, everyone, all the bead bundles are now showing in stock. And dear Kimberly, I think you deserve a special prize for this, for your kindness to letting everyone know. Thank you so much for checking and sharing the information. I have also another blue beads here, and I have never seen this shape before. So I guess I would include it in bead embroidery, for example, because these are flat and I wouldn't want them to turn around. The hole runs like this, and it's a 3-petal flower. Then something else than flowers. I also have here little cubes where every one of the sides is decorated with a tiny golden star. The hole runs from corner to corner, and even if this turns around, then from every angle you see the tiny golden stars. How cute is this? Then I just found the pink ones that I have on the picture, and I really wanted to show these to you because not only the color is interesting, it's like transparent pink but still eye-catching, but the shape, it's like a mini pumpkin. So even if it looks like a round bead from the distance, when you look at it closer, then you can see that it's actually the equivalent of a little pumpkin. It matches my nails. Extra dose of happiness. Then I have here more turquoise beads. And I will try to be a little bit quicker about this because I have more coming. So I have here, for example, teardrops, a bit bigger teardrops than we are used to. And Irene says, a lot of the bundles say out of stock in the bead shop, but blue, not gray. If you click on them, you can put in your cart. So do try to buy. I will let the treasury know. Thank you so much, Irene. Every time there is a software update, something can go wrong, and of course goes wrong. And I know how annoying this is, and I apologize for it. Please, Irene, write an email, and we will look into it. Thank you so much. I found another bag of donuts in the meanwhile. And Aniko says, I refreshed the page and all appear now as available. And Kimberly is asking a tricky one. Erika, what is your second favorite color next to 50 Shades of Turquoise? Oh my God. Like, this is the hardest question that I got recently. Let's get back to like bead shop problems. I don't know. I love yellow lately. I love pink, but not sweet pink, but like a bit punkish pink, like these beads that I showed you. And in my opinion, these all look great together. And while my beadwork is super colorful, then it's funny because I'm wearing mostly black these days. So super hard question to answer. And after that, I have more turquoise for you. So one of them are these table cut beads in blue turquoise-ish with a Picasso effect. Great for bead embroidery because they are flat, but they also can be bezeled. And then this is something that I absolutely love. So these are again table cut beads in a heart shape, turquoise, and it's getting better. On one side they are flat, and on the other side there is a tiny rose, and you can hang them under a beaded motif, and it's just amazing. They are great. And Heather says the black, all the better to show off the beads. Indeed. Angelina also agrees that the colorful beadwork shows up wonderfully on black clothes. And ladies are mentioning here chicken shit, avocado green, and I think I did not receive a sample of those, but there are also avocado green beads between the treasures from the Crystal Valley. I also have here 3 different colors of tiny cute hearts in pink, gold, and blue, gold colored white and blue. And these are flat, so they can be sewn down into bead embroidery, but also you can use them in your beadwork, bead woven motifs if you make sure that they don't turn around. I have here also all kinds of round beads, from smaller to bigger, more turquoise, a beautiful red, and even some pink ones. And when you look closer at these beads, then you will see that this is not just simple pink, but they are a bit marbled. Again, I mentioned that the marbled effects and the layered effects can be created only if the glass rods are already man-made. So this is a beautiful example why it is so worth it to go into the trouble of making everything by hand. I have here more donuts, and I had this size of donuts in my stash a few years back. Some of you ladies might remember I have the Tarak beaded bead, and it's a great one. It has like 4 pieces of rivolis in the beaded bead, and I made a necklace where I strung beaded beads interchangeably with these big donuts. In that case, the big donuts were fire polished beads, and then later I also got gemstone beads, and then later I also got fire polished donuts. So this is where I love using the big fire polished donuts. This is my favorite. It's a turquoise, of course, but then the top and the bottom are marbled with a beautiful golden bronze effect. Like, this is one of the most beautiful beads that I brought back. And by the way, I also learned during the one of the factory visits that the reason why we rarely have clogged holes with fire polished beads is because when the fire polished beads, including these fire polished donuts, go through a kiln one more time to heat the surface and to make them shiny, then that also means that if there is a piece of glass stuck in the hole of the fire polished bead, then that also melts away. Of course, there can be exceptions, but mostly fire polished beads don't have clogged holes for this reason. And Christina is asking, is there a website I can go to see everything you have to order from? Dear Christina, beadingschool.com, full of treasures for you. And if you follow the QR code and the link that I will be posting just now, then it will take you directly to this category with the treasures that we brought back from the Crystal Valley. We ship worldwide from 100 euros. That's about 110 US dollars. We ship for free with track and trace numbers, no matter where do you live around the world. And it's also, as Angelina says, it's also in the new section. I have here 2 more of those beads which have like 3 faces, kind of. I have also a dark red, beautiful, and the white, more neutral variety. The dark red is also great. This is a shade of red that I love. I don't really use red, by the way, referring a bit still to the question of Kimberly, that what colors do I love. I don't like this light red, but this dark red, this is amazing, in my opinion. And from this style of beads, I also have an interesting shape where the olives are table cut. Those beaders who watched about a year ago the Coffee Time with Erika, when I was talking about table cut beads, then they know how they are created. You can look back the recording or look up the blog post. So two sides are flat, but originally these olives were just as circular as the usual beads. But there is an extra step in the manufacturing process. And this again come in red, 2 shades of turquoise, not 50, just 2. And okay, this is more blue, and a white Picasso effect. And then the last ones that I have here, Marcelina says in the meanwhile that her favorite color is red. And it's so nice that all of us love different colors and different combinations. It's beautiful to witness it in the club. And then I have 2 more donut beads. My eyes were really like lit up when I discovered how many donut beads there are in this warehouse that we visited. So this is kind of like a middle size. One of them is jet black and one of them is crystal AB. And actually there is more, only I did not get a sample from everything. I'm a good girl, despite whoever, whatever thinks. And I did not take everything for myself. So this was just a sample of what is now waiting for you in the Treasures from the Crystal Valley shelf in the beading school bead shop. I would also like to mention that since we were already there, then we also did our best to restock the most popular shaped glass beads that we all use in our work. So we restocked many of the ginkgo beads, mini gem duos, also in new colors, paisley duos, round drop duos, round glass beads in different sizes, kali beads, the shell beads that you need for Zuzi's Dufa pendant, and we were struggling to get those. The manufacturer was overwhelmed and we were struggling to get those beads, but those are also some of the colors back in stock, and many of them also come in bundles for a better price, as I said. It's also worth it to check out the new section. We have the Saturn beads in more colors. We got Rizzo beads for you. That was actually the first ever shaped bead, like in new history of bead making. No, sorry, that was Super Duo, but then the first 2-hole shaped bead was Super Duo, and then the next invention in new bead making history by Sabine Lippert was the Rizzo bead. We also got flat duos, which are actually identical to paisley duos, and also some new colors of round glass beads. I would like to share my screen for a tiny bit. Just a moment. So this is the Treasures from the Crystal Valley section. As you can see, the bundles are blue and you can add them to your cart. So thank you so much for your patience until my colleagues could activate everything. And as you can see, there is actually more than what I could show you. There are also new pumpkin beads. We used them during the flowers in the hair team. More little flowers. And so on. And I would also like to recommend to check out, I'm not sharing, right? That was funny. So these are the treasures from the Crystal Valley. So there are more than I could show you. Also the pumpkin beads, for example. And I would also like to recommend checking out the new in the bead shop section and the treasury restock section. This is, for example, the treasury restock, and as you can see, Timmy managed to restock this beautiful crystal honey shimmer shell beads for Zuzi's Dufa, for example. Lots of the Kalis. You can click on the June restock to see the freshest ones. And then when the bead shop behaves, it behaves now. You can also see what is new. Among else, for example, from today, the tutorial for Veronika's Dear France can be yours with the Kali beads, also from the Crystal Volley. And on Thursday, I am looking forward to meet you again, to bead together Zuzi's Gödöllő motif that she created from the current Beading School Academy team box. She also uses Kali beads in it. This is the one in the event calendar, the Gödöllő earring, and we will have a proper live No One Has to Bead Alone. So I am really, really looking forward to beading with you again. And next week, since we also had a filigree hair component, for example, included in the Beading School Academy team box, next week we are going to talk about filigrees, different types of filigrees during coffee time with Erika. And ladies, I would like to thank you for being here with me today. It was wonderful to talk about beads and bead making. A lot more is coming, as I said. Gradually, we will bring you more beading knowledge, more pictures, more videos. And I'm really happy how this extra piece of knowledge, extra bits of knowledge, I think it will connect us to our beloved beads in an even more precious way. So I can't wait to again see your creations. And also, please don't hesitate to ask questions. And most importantly, take care of yourselves and happy beading. And see you on Thursday for No One Has to Bead Alone. Thank you so much for everything, lovely beaders. Bye bye.